Now, officials aren't the only ones reacting to today's decision. Groups trying to stop impaired driving and those who have been caught driving drunk are speaking out as well. Dana Hutchings joins us with more in Checkpoint.
Stacey, the decision is definitely leading to mixed reactions. Tonight, Kendall Hansen talks to people on both sides of the debate. He revisits one man who has always disagreed with the law, especially when he was on the wrong side of it.
It's been more than a year since Nanaimo resident Rod McDonald was pulled over and given a 3-day driving suspension, a law he called unconstitutional after his early experience with it.
You should be allowed to have your say, and with the law the way it is right now, you don't have your say.
That's exactly how 4 others felt who launched this lawsuit in BC Supreme Court. McDonald felt the teeth of the legislation on October 6th of 2010. McDonald was driving home from the Oxy pub when an RCMP officer pulled him over. He said he had had 2 pints of beer over 2 hours, but he blew what the device said was a warning. He refused to blow a second time, he says, because he did not realize it was on a different device. The then recently introduced legislation meant more than $700 in expenses.
There has been no change to where you have a chance to come back and to get heard. Basically, the police is still the same thing. I mean, they're judge and jury.
Do I look impaired?
Yes, you do.
No.
Well, you are impaired, sir.
The ruling says the legislation infringes on the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and is not justified for those who blow over the legal limit of .08. But nothing has changed for those like McDonald who blow a warning level below it.
I was really disappointed with it. I felt that they should have done more about the unfairness of the warn.
But that's not how a Nanaimo group aimed at eliminating drunk driving sees it.
My first reaction was shock and disappointment, great disappointment. They've just announced that there was a 40% reduction in deaths from impaired driving since this law came into effect. That's huge. That is the biggest reduction we have ever seen.
Joan Parsons says while changes may need to happen, she's urging the government to continue the fight against drunk driving.
I do have some understanding of what the court is saying. I think the government has to go back and say we found a method that works. As far as stopping impaired driving, let's find a way to make it work within the law.
We think that while educating the motoring public is crucial and important, if you don't get it by now, you shouldn't be driving at all.
Comes on the same day the province and police ICBC launched the December Impaired Driving Counterattack campaign. Police are reminding everyone to have a designated driver. Regardless of what happened today, they will be on the roads cracking down on those who drink and drive. Our checkpoint question tonight: should police have the power to seize vehicles and levy roadside fines? You can tweet us at @check_news, post on our Facebook page, or email checkpoint@checknews.ca. Leonard Krogh, the opposition critic for the Attorney General, isn't surprised by today's court decision because he says the law doesn't provide due process.
We all are interested in ensuring that there are reduced fatalities on our highways, that drunk drivers aren't on the road. That's without question. But the process to stop that has to be a fair one. What the Supreme Court said today is, look, you haven't allowed for a fair process. Justice applies to everyone, the accused, the innocent, and the guilty.
What do you think? Should police have the power to seize vehicles and levy roadside fines? Here are some of your responses.
Ultimately, we have given them the right to look after us. Therefore, we're hopefully giving them the right to be responsible when they do make these checks.
If the person's impaired, definitely. If they're not impaired and it's questionable, that's a question. But with going on the police's better judgment, I would say yes, they should have that right.
Yes, if you are over the limit, for sure. I think if you are over the limit, then police should impound your car.
From Facebook, Jenny says, yes, I believe they should have the power to do that. Obviously, what they're doing is working, as deaths have been cut almost in half. The only way for people to learn not to drink and drive is to be caught. Dave says the program has saved lives because everyone lives in fear of the police. I don't condone drinking and driving, but this is just another sign of us losing more of our personal freedoms. And the results of our web poll quite close tonight. Almost 46% of people say yes, while 54% say no, police should not have the power. As to what happens now, Attorney General Shirley Bond says the part of the law that has been ruled unconstitutional will be reworked and reintroduced in the spring. And that's tonight's Checkpoint.